You know that simple paper box your deliveries come in? Well, right now, it's at the very center of a super complex, high stakes global transformation. What's happening inside this seemingly simple industry is this incredible story of massive opportunity, intense pressure, and some truly brilliant innovation. Just look at this number, $717.8 billion. That is the projected value of the printed cartons market by 2034. Folks, this isn't just growth, it's an absolute explosion. It signals a seismic shift in how the world packages its goods. And believe me, the race to capture a piece of that pie is on. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through this whole transformation. We'll kick things off with paper's unexpected golden age. Then, we'll dive into the three huge challenges standing in the way: the technology hurdle, the regulatory maze, and the economic squeeze. And finally, we'll lay out the blueprint for the next generation of packaging. Right now, we are living in what you could call paper's golden age. And why is that? Well, it really all boils down to one powerful word: sustainability. Consumers, corporations, you name it, everyone is demanding alternatives to single-use plastics, and paper has become the #1 substitute, which is fueling this incredible surge in demand. And the scale of that surge is just staggering. The market for printed cartons is on track to nearly double in just a decade, jumping from about $393 billion today to over $717 billion. That works out to a compound annual growth rate of 6.3%. This isn't just about making more boxes, it's about making smarter, higher value ones. But of course, this golden age comes with a massive challenge. For paper to really replace plastic in things like, say, your coffee cup or a food container, it has to do things it wasn't born to do, like be waterproof. And it has to do it without creating a whole new set of environmental problems. This is the technology hurdle. And this really shows you the fundamental shift happening in material science. See, the old way involved lining paper with plastic films like polyethylene, which frankly made recycling a total nightmare. The big breakthrough is these new aqueous or water-based, no plastic coatings. They give you the waterproof barrier you need, but the final product stays fully repulpable, meaning it can easily be broken down and turned back into paper, and it's biodegradable. It's a game changer. And this isn't just some theory stuck in a lab. We're seeing these innovations in action right now. No plastic coatings are making paper cups waterproof and heat sealable. New zero wet strength paper is creating better glue-free straws that don't just fall apart in your drink. And technologies like Fiberlight are actually cutting the weight of paperboard by over 5%, which slashes costs and carbon footprints. So let's say you've done it. You've invented the perfect paper cup. Awesome! But now you run headfirst into the second and maybe the most complex hurdle of all: a dizzying, constantly changing maze of international regulations. For any company that wants to sell its products globally, getting this right is a make-or-break challenge. This is the question every single manufacturer and brand has to answer, because failing to meet these standards doesn't just mean a fine, it means getting completely locked out of massive consumer markets. It can derail entire product lines overnight. The stakes are incredibly high. You've got these global heavyweights, especially China and the European Union, and they have set up this demanding regulatory gauntlet. China, for example, just rolled out a super strict new national standard for food contact paper known as GB 4806-8 2022, and it has completely changed the game for chemical safety testing. And the level of detail in these rules is what's really crucial here. In China, it's not some general test. You have to prove your products are free of specific trace chemicals like 3-MCPD, which is a compound often found in adhesives. Meanwhile, the EU's new packaging regulation demands that 40% of transport packaging has to be reusable by 2030, and any plastic parts, like the lid on your paper cup, must contain up to 35% recycled content. All right, so as if the tech and the regulatory red tape weren't enough, there's a third challenge: the economic squeeze. Soaring costs are putting immense pressure on manufacturers. And really, the only way to survive is to turn that pressure into a competitive advantage through just pure operational excellence. The pressure is just relentless, and it's coming from every direction. Your core raw materials, paperboard, inks, adhesives, they're all getting more expensive. And if that wasn't enough, you've got these volatile global supply chains that make planning and inventory management incredibly difficult. It is a perfect storm of economic headwinds. So how on earth do you fight back against that? Well, You do it with technology. Advanced automation is a huge part of the solution. Some companies have reported efficiency gains of up to 36% just by integrating automated systems for things like paper carton forming and conveyance. This is how you offset those rising costs and stay competitive. And here's a fantastic real-world example. James Miller over at Pack Pro Industries said their new machinery boosted production efficiency by a massive 40%. Now, that is not a small tweak. That's a transformational improvement, and it just goes to show you the direct power of investing in modern automation. So when you put it all together, after you navigate the hurdles of technology, regulation, and economics, what does the next generation of packaging actually look like? Well, it all comes down to a clear three-part blueprint for success. So here it is, the blueprint. It's got three core pillars. First, the winners are going to be the ones who master non-plastic R&D, especially those advanced aqueous coatings we talked about. Second, they'll achieve dual standard compliance, meaning they'll engineer products from day one to pass those strict chemical tests in China and the reuse and recycling targets in the EU. And third, they will go all in on digital automation to control costs and manage all this complexity. And this right here is the crucial takeaway. That simple paper box we started with, we have to stop thinking of it that way. The future of packaging is a highly engineered system. It's a product of advanced materials science, complex regulatory strategy, and smart manufacturing. It's as much a tech product as it is a container. And that brings us to the final question. In this new world of packaging, the market leaders are going to be defined by their mastery of technology, regulation, and automation. So the only question that really matters for every brand and every manufacturer is this. Are you positioning yourself to be a leader, or are you at risk of becoming a relic?